Hey there, everybody! Welcome back to my vlogs! My name is Max, this one I'm Karen, and on Sundays here I talk about my week, what I've been up to, and I offer writing advice and inspiration along the way. Hey there, everybody! Who is this big boy? Where did this big boy come from? What is his origin story? What is his tragic backstory? You may be wondering, oh no, I can't put him on, he's too big. He's so big, I love him. So you may be wondering, if you're new to my channel, oof, this is a rough video to start. This week, in tonight's video, I'm going to be talking about my week, involving my birthday! Also hashtag life is good. And then I'm going to be talking about, oh my god, what am I talking about? Oh yeah, I got angry on, Kitty and I had a rant video on our other channel, which inspired me to talk about making your story idea more than just a selling point. So those are the two subjects of the day, so let's just dive right in. Man, the similarity is just, it's just eerie. It's like there's two Maxes on the screen. I could go get the other little slowpoke and then make that meme of like, don't talk to me, or my son, ever again. But no, because that involves getting up, and I'm already in recording mode. So, what happened this week? Well, this week, and I know, I'm in the future, it was my birthday! And Kitty, my favorite person in the whole wide world, gifted me this huge slowpoke! He's so big! He's so big! He's so big and fluffy, and he's like that Japanese material that's all like gooey inside, is like marshmallow. I love him. I almost cried. It was the cutest, sweetest present ever. Max, I wasn't a kid during the 90s. Or, Pokemon is overrated? Old? I don't know. It's a Pokemon. Slowpoke. See, it's funny because I'm a Slowpoke too. Oh man, Kitty and I, we took a lift somewhere, because we had a kind of birthday date, and our Lyft driver was asking us about shows on Netflix if we had seen them, and I'm like, oh no, I'm out of the loop, listen. Yeah, if you watch Friday's video, you know, being out of the loop is part of my work method system. So, anyhow, yeah, no, we had a really lovely day. I celebrated my birthday. I'm a March baby, you all know that now. And it was really sweet. It's probably the best birthday I had in a long time. It was just very quiet and sweet. And I got a big boy slowpoke. And also been playing Pokemon games. Kitty and I, we have our other channel where we talk about anime. Hint, next subject. And also we do Let's Plays. And we've been doing a Pokemon Randomizer Challenge. It's a Nuzlocke Randomizer Challenge, which means nothing if you don't know what the heck Nuzlocke means. But we've been doing that. We started that Let's Play as a joke, because we needed videos to fill, like, a week's worth of slots, and that LP has gone places. Some really sad places, because in a Nuzlocke challenge, when Pokemons die, they die forever. So it kind of plays like a permadeath. Oh, Nuzlocke is the Dark Souls of Pokemon games. There you go, I said it, everybody. Anyhow. I think holding him like this is blocking my sound from the mic. Whoops! What else did I do this week? Jesus. It was fun. I had a birthday. I got a big boy. I've been playing Pokemon. I have set up a gaming Discord just for whenever I'm playing Monster Hunter, if people want to come online and chat with me. I don't know if I've made it public. If I haven't already, because I'm in the past of your future, just hit me up on Twitter. Hashtag twitter.com/MrKoon. Just yell at me, and I'll let you know if it's public or if I'm just giving out links to whoever asks for them. But yeah, that was my week. I'm just gonna leave my boy here on the screen because I love him. Hopefully it doesn't look really silly on the camera. I don't think so. It's fine. So that right there was the update for this week. Let's instead dive now into the main subject of the day, making your story more than just one note, more than just a selling point. Recently, Kitty and I, because on our other channel, as I mentioned, we watch anime, and we've been reacting to the 2018 winter anime season, watching the first episodes of pretty much everything that has come out, and we watched some pretty bad stuff. We're at the bottom of the barrel now. All the good stuff is over. We're watching all the really bad stuff. And we recently had what was basically a rant. Like, we were actually both, like, physically angry about some really, really bad storytelling. And I wanted to sit down here today and talk a little bit about making your story more than just one note. There's kind of this misconception, especially when you are outside of the writing circle, or beginning to get into the writing circle, to get into the you know, writing stories thing, you get really focused. And you can tell this because this is what literally happens with everyone's first book / first comic book, where you focus only on the selling point / the story idea. And this happens very often, especially when something becomes popular. Like when the Hunger Games finally blew up. A bunch of stories came out that were kind of similar, Death Games kind of thing. Or when Twilight got really big, or when Harry Potter got really big. And that's not inherently a bad thing. As I mentioned in that ranty video, whenever something explodes, it enables people to look at it from a different point of view and do their own twist on things. And that's cool. The problem emerges when someone kind of just focuses on the selling point. This is popular, okay, I'm going to tell a story with zombies in it. Or I'm going to tell a story about a parallel video game world where a character is transported into it and the shenanigans that happen there. Also known as isekai. That one right there is pretty tired, but we'll touch on that in a moment. There's a lot of this mentality of just focusing on the selling point. And while some people may tell you that you have to write a book keeping in mind that you're going to sell it to an agent who's going to sell it to a publishing house, I just want to kind of like come here and tell you that I think, in my personal history, it's easier to sell a book that you have finished than trying to sell a book you haven't finished. And someone was actually asking me about stuff like that. And it's also, I think it's also easier to write a book when you actually want to write it and have your own things to say than just writing a book you want to sell. I don't know. I've known people who have finished stuff like that, but it always felt very soulless, very empty, very by the numbers, because they were just kind of selling the thing that I was selling at the moment. And the other really small problem, this is becoming a rant relatively quickly, but I'll slow down, I promise. The only other problem also of writing what you think is popular right now is that by the time you finish a book, which spoilers, books take a long time to write, and to edit, and to sell, by the time your book sells or releases, that thing might already be over. It might already be dead. If you were writing a book inspired by MOBAs, you would be kind of in a tight pickle, considering that now the big hot thing are death games. Pop culture moves relatively quickly, and if you're playing to the beat of the current drum, you're already behind the curveball. Just throwing metaphors at you, it's fine. It's fine. So, how do we make our stories more than just one note? More than just, I'm telling a story with zombies in it, or I'm telling a story about a parallel world that happens to also be a video game. Also, I haven't angered anywhere near enough people, so I'll just say this right now. Ready Player One is just American isekai, and if you disagree, come fight me. So, how do we make our stories more than just one note? I think that it first is written in your mentality. And I realize, man, no one's gonna take my advice seriously with this big boy next to me. Or maybe you will take me extra seriously. Only a very specific kind of genius will record a video with their big boy. Man, he's so good, he's so gooey. But anyhow, you came here to know about writing advice. And hopefully I'll give you some today. I think that if you come with the right mentality, half of the problem is already gone. If you come into a story thinking, okay, I'm gonna sell this story because it's a zombie world and so and so and so, I kind of feel that you're already shooting yourself in the foot. Because you're thinking about this cool world and this cool selling point without actually thinking about the main thing that matters in a story. Telling the gosh doodly darn story. People forget that. Can you believe that people actually forget actually telling your story? And it pains me because that's most movies. Most movies try to sell you the selling point and forget about actually telling your story with characters that do things and change and have goals, you know? And I'm not trying to come off like, back in my day, movies had meaning. And that is not true. Back in my day, movies were still equally as bad. But I think that right there shows the pitfalls of storytelling in the public eye. People worry a lot about the story idea, the selling point, and forget about actually telling a story. About actually giving the reader, the viewer, the player something satisfying, something they can take away from this. An actual development, a reflection of our very innermost personal feelings through the guise of a character's experiences. And even, you know, even without going as verbose as that, just the very idea that something happens in here and is driven by character, and there are consequences. You can write a story centered around a really cool idea. I think I talked about this last week. You can have that cool story idea. You can absolutely deserve to write a zombie story if you want. You can write isekai if you want. But what matters is that when you sit down, you actually tell a story. One of the things that I haven't brought up, and it's because it's kind of a weird metaphor, but follow up on me, okay? My sister's a baker. She's a cake decorator. She is all about bread and cakes. She decorates cakes for a living. It's her thing. And she sometimes gets people's really odd requests. They ask for very, very garish cakes. Like, especially for weddings or for birthdays and the special events, they want very garish cakes. And of course she makes them. But there's always this shortcoming that people realize, or that she realizes, and, you know, has told me about, is that people focus a lot on what things look like, or what the exterior is, and don't really think very much about the inside. There have been too many times when I've seen garish cakes that tasted mediocre. And that's sad. It's sad when you have all this frosting and whatever that almond-based paste is called, I just forget what it's called. My sister, bless her heart, is not watching this because she would just be yelling at me. Marzipan! That thing. You have this garish, beautiful, breathtakingly beautiful cake that tastes just like everything else. And isn't that the most direct line to this conversation? A cool idea with so much potential. Oh, I'm getting angry right now because I'm remembering a very particular story. A very cool story idea. A very interesting setup. But there is nothing in it. That we can all relate to. There is no way you haven't felt that way. And today I want to inspire you. A story idea is good. A cool story idea is also good. It's cool to come into a story wanting to write a story about so-and-so. It's okay to have a selling point. That's fine. But you still gotta tell a story. It's a story with characters that matter. Who do things. Who change. Who affect the story and face consequences for their actions. Satisfaction and payoff are right there, critical to the act of storytelling. And of course, if you watch this channel, I've gone on lengths about that, but I just kind of wanted to underline this reality that sometimes, especially if you're new to writing, it's very easy to just focus on the selling point, on wanting the story. Sorry, I'm seeing the preview window, and there's this notebook just flopping everywhere. I love it. I love him. He's a good boy. There's a sense in writing to think about the elevator pitch, to think about how to explain your story to someone, and to focus on the selling points. And while those are nice and important, you also gotta make a good cake. You gotta make something that tastes good. Because it's always disappointing when you cut into this beautiful garish cake and it's the same as everything you've had before. And one thing. Because I feel like I've overlooked one subject, and I'll just make this very clear right now. You don't have to know your story's selling point before you sit down to write it. Especially considering how we don't really know stories until we write them. I can assure you that if you write a full story and you focus on telling that story, when you start going through revision, you will realize what your story is really about and how you can sell it. So really, I don't think you should worry about that, because every story you can sell, but you cannot sell the story you haven't finished. Okay? Okay. Hey there, everybody. Max here. Max here and other Max, because I mean, you see the life like we're just the same. Just, you know, two slowpokes from a different group. I'm trying to make a Pokemon joke here, but it's fine. Hey there, everybody. Max here. Also known as Karen. I do writing advice videos here on YouTube twice a week. And I used to have a really small Slowpoke, but as you can see, he has leveled up. What? Max, Slowpoke doesn't evolve into a bigger Slowpoke. And I'm like, think about it, though. Think about it. What? It doesn't make sense? No, 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 no. Keep thinking about it. And when you'll think about it, I want to remind you that I have a Twitter account! Twitter.com/MrKaren is the one place to go. If you want to follow my writing advice and my silly posts about hashtag writing relatable things. And just if I'm playing games online, I usually drop links to my Discord. I don't know if I've made it public, but by the time this video goes up, I figure that out. If you want to play games with me, just check out my Twitter. Also, I have a Patreon account, which is the #1 place to support me and what I do. If you enjoy these videos, please consider pledging as little as $1 a month. $1 a month gets you to watch these videos a week in advance, and I think that's pretty cool. And of course, if you pledge a little bit more, you can get cool things like my physical writing scene arriving to your doorstep every single month, access to my super duper secret podcast, and of course, a shout out like the following people on the screen right now. Thank you for your support, guys. Really appreciate it. And Slowpoke appreciates it too. Man, he's so floppy. He's so floppy. The other day I was holding him like a baby. And it's great. It's the dumbest. Also, you can't see it, but he's got a floppy tail too. It's the best. This here is probably the best, greatest birthday present I've ever gotten. And it's, of course, Kitty, of course you would know. Of course you would know exactly what I wanted. And it was this. It was this. Life's good. Life's good when you got yourself a floppy Slowpoke. Am I gonna edit that out? I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Hey there, everybody. Thank you for tagging along. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me. I hope that today's video was funny. And I hope that it was a little bit insightful. And I hope that no matter what, you enjoyed looking at this floppy Slowpoke on the screen.